Let's state it that way. All right, there goes the notification. All right, waiting. We should begin here any second. Just be patient. All right. Now, let's go to YouTube really fast. Do a search for this. Maybe. YouTube really fast. Do this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will begin here in just a second. We will begin here in just a second. Let me check the sound settings here. They look good. All right. I'll see if I can open this up. Check the other location here. Make sure we sound okay. Whoa, we're the only one broadcasting. I know why, because it's a holiday weekend. Check the other location here. All right. Give it a couple of seconds here, and then we will begin on this Friday, August the 29th, 2025. We will begin here in just a minute. Waiting. I'm not going to wait too long. I think I'm just going to try to hurry and get this done. All right, the map is working. It's just moving a little slow today. It's a little bit behind. That's okay. All right. We'll begin here in just a second. I hope everyone's having a good day. All right, we will begin here in just a second, ladies and gentlemen. We will begin here in just a second. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go to the article. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we go live. There's the connection doing all kinds of weird things again. That's okay. We go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Looking at our world from a theological perspective. This is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, August the 29th, 2025. It is currently 11:17 a.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the Theology Central studio, located right here in Abilene, Texas. And oh my goodness, I cannot believe this. This has been my concern for a very long time. It's right here in front of me, right? It's right here. I've got the article right here in front of me, and I'm not happy about it, ladies and gentlemen. I am not happy about it. I know it was inevitable. I knew it was coming, and I've been talking about this all year, and here we are. Now I have a clear piece of evidence to explain my concern and my fear, and we're going to talk about it. All right, so as everyone knows, if you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, especially in the year 2025, you know I'm all in. I'm for Team AI, right? I'm for Team Artificial Intelligence. If it comes down to AI versus the humans, I'm going with AI. I know that sounds a little bit hyperbolic, but I try to say that to make a point that I very much am amazed by what AI can do, and I use it continually. I'm using artificial intelligence in any way and every way I can. I'm constantly trying to find new ways to use it. Will it do this? Can I do this? Will it do this? And I'm constantly engaged in back and forth. I will refer to them as conversations. I know others will try to get technical. It's not really a conversation. It's simply mimicking the idea of a conversation. I get all of that, but I engage with it over and over and over. I deal with it with theology, Bible study, you name it. It doesn't matter. Lyrical interpretations, movie interpretations, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I will engage it in some way, shape, or form, and then I go back and forth with it, going back and forth. So I love AI, but my concern has been that it's inevitable what's going to happen. I mean, I've said this so many times. Ultimately, what's going to happen is this wonderful thing called artificial intelligence is going to be taken by people and it's going to be manipulated. And I know there's already some biases in AI. I'm not foolish enough not to think that, but it's going to be taken. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have Baptist AI, atheist AI, liberal AI, conservative AI, Christian nationalist AI, and everyone's going to want an AI that simply tells them they are right. They're simply going to use AI for confirmation bias to simply just tell them you're right and this is true. So if you want an AI that's kind of like, like Trump supporters, it's going to be like the 2020 election was stolen and COVID was a hoax and who knows what else. It's going to go full blown QAnon. It's going to do that. If you're into conspiratorial thinking, you're going to want an AI to support your conspiratorial way of thinking. Everyone's going to have an AI that does whatever you want it to do, to tell you that you are right, to simply confirm what you already think. And that's a nightmare to me. That is the worst thing. No, I do not want AI. We've done entire programs where I tried to tell you, try to train your artificial intelligence platform that you're using to not simply agree with you, to push back, to try to argue with you, to challenge you, you want an AI that is based on accuracy, truth, logic, reason, facts, not simply saying you are right. I want it to push back on me every single time. And so sometimes I get it to do very well. My AI, I think since I've been working with it so long, it's pretty aggressive in many cases and will do a lot of pushing back and tell me I'm wrong. And sometimes we go back and forth on issues. And it's not so much issues of facts, because you can't push back on facts, but it will be, especially when it comes to hermeneutics or theology, and maybe some back and forth there, or simply trying to understand why it's going in the direction that it's going. But I want it to push back on me. I want it to challenge me as well. So I want AI to just be this tool. See, I know I was naive. In my mind, I'm like, you know what? We live in a world where everyone has their own alternative facts. You talk about relativism out of control. That's where we are in 2025. Right? It doesn't matter what the subject is. Well, I don't believe that. And if you give them facts that contradict what they say, what do they say? It's fake news. It's fake. Oh, that's liberal. So they only want news that comes from Newsmax or Fox News, and someone else only wants news that comes from a liberal source. And it's like, no, I thought AI could be this tool that arose from the ashes of this out of control nonsense and say, hey guys, humans, you're all idiots. You're all morons. Okay, here are facts. Here's truth. Now, I know that's very naive for me to think, but I'm like, humans can't pull it off. Humans have failed miserably. We are divided, blinded, confused. Okay, AI, it's your turn. Here's your opportunity. come rise from the ashes and guide us into some kind of direction of logic and reason. I know that's ridiculous to think that way, but that's how I wanted to believe it, because I'm so tired of this craziness. And even within Christianity, it's like, well, I believe this and they believe this, and nobody can agree on anything. And it's like, nobody can agree on what a Greek word even means anymore. And it's like, there could be something out there that could give us some sense of stability. But yeah, again, I know that's naive. I know I should have never thought that, but I really wanted to believe that. Well, here we are, and my AI dream has come crashing to the ground. And here's the reason why. Saudi Arabia has launched a chatbot with Islamic moral code. So Saudi Arabia has created an AI model that's basically going to be pro-Islam. It's going to be an Islamic chatbot that follows that moral code. So if you are using it, it's only going to then give things and answers that would be in conformity to the Islamic moral code. Well, no, I don't want AI to be in conformity to a Christian moral code. I don't want AI to be in a conformity to anything other than facts and truth and accuracy. That's all I want. But I know that, again, that what I want, I know is never going to exist, because human beings are involved. In all AI models, I know there's already biases in every AI model to some level. I know that. But man, but here's the story. This comes from thetimes.com. It was published Thursday, August the 28th, 2025, 12:40 p.m. I don't know which time zone. Here we go. All right. Saudi Arabia launches chatbot with Islamic moral code. I think it's pronounced, I don't think it's Humain. It's Humain Chat. I think you could state it that way. Humain Chat will eventually be available to Arabic speakers and Muslims worldwide, says its developers, who are backed by the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Saudi Arabia has launched its own chatbot that complies with Islamic values as the industry spends billions of pounds for a stake in the growing technology industry. Humain Chat, which presently only available in the Gulf Kingdom, has been designed for the more than 400 million Arabic speakers and 2 billion Muslims worldwide, its developers claim. However, unlike Grok X's foul-mouthed chatbot and its apparently agnostic counterparts from Google and OpenAI, the Saudi version will comply with Islamic values, the creators say. Humain, the company behind the chatbot, which is owned by the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, has introduced it in Saudi Arabia first, but promises to expand the Arabic and English AI app to the wider Middle East and internationally. Humain said that the chatbot, which like others is based on large language model, will have safeguards to prevent it from violating the kingdom's social and religious values. So it's not clear yet how the chatbot will answer sensitive questions on atheism or homosexuality, which are illegal in the kingdom, but it is unlikely to respond that they are a matter of choice in the matter of Grok, Google's Gemini, or OpenAI's ChatGPT. Chatbots can be unpredictable. However, Grok can use profanity and flirtatious animated characters in exchanges with ex-users. It has praised Hitler. Grok also claimed that it has been censored after it said that there was a continuing genocide in Gaza, and it regularly casts aspersions on Elon Musk, who owns X. And again, we've seen this with Grok, is if it says something, the next thing you know, Elon and the people at X are modifying it or changing it, and that's what you don't want. So we've already seen it with Grok. I sometimes forget that Grok is even an AI model. I see it as a Elon Musk model. I see it as trying to be in conformity with the way he thinks. And I'm not a fan of it. I'm not saying I wouldn't use it. I'm I would be very suspicious. But I try to maintain at least a reasonable level of suspicion with all AI models to some, because I know that there's some biases within. But man, when it just, here's what I would prefer. If anyone is going to come up with an AI model, I wish they would just let us know, hey, this is what, at least in Saudi Arabia, they're telling you, this is going to conform to Islamic values. The end. That's what this is going to do. And when Christians have one, I want Christians to say, well, this is going to be the Baptist AI. This is going to be the Catholic AI. This is going to be the charismatic AI. Because I'm going to avoid those models with every part of my being, because I don't want to support that kind of blind propaganda nonsense. I don't want a pro-American AI. I just want AI to worry about facts, because we need to get back to logic and facts and reason and stop with all of this propaganda division, and everybody just wants to hear what they think. I can't stand that. Oh, so, all right. Humain has a $10 billion war chest via the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, and it has invested heavily in AI. So, I mean, they've got money, they got the ability to build this out. And so that's going to be, so will the Islamic AI argue with the Christian AI? And then which AI can better, that could be interesting if you had a pro-Christian AI and a pro-Islamic AI, and you allowed the two AI models to argue with one another. Which one would win the debate? Okay, all right, that could be fascinating, but I don't want this. I don't want it, ladies and gentlemen. I do not want this at all. I have great criticism of it. So I'm going to try to break down some of this, all right? I think it's just fair to say, I think here we are. When we started this discussion with AI, at the beginning of 2025, I think maybe even the end of 2024, we've been talking about it, using it. I've got an entire series about AI and the future of the church. I'll put this episode there. But here we go. AI is becoming ideologically customizable. I guess you could customize it. We'll call it that way. AI is becoming customizable for one's ideology. It's AI is becoming where make your own chatbot to agree with your own ideology. I don't know the best way to describe it, but you know where I'm saying. You're going to be able to customize it like you're going through the drive-thru. You're like, I want pickles. No, I don't want pickles. I want cheese. No, I don't want cheese. Well, now you can make your own AI, and you can just customize it any way you want. The Humain AI, the Humain Chat from Saudi Arabia, shows that governments, religions, and interest groups can and will shape AI to reflect their own values. If a model can be aligned with Islamic principles, there's nothing stopping similar models from being trained or fine-tuned to reflect Baptist theology, atheist skepticism, progressive liberal values, conservative traditionalism, nationalist ideologies, gender-affirming activism, anti-LGBTQ plus sentiment, pro-Zionist, pro-Palestinian perspectives, libertarian free market principles, environmentalist ethics, Catholic social teaching, and on and on and on and on and on. And that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. So this AI, do we call it tribalization? Everyone breaking off into its own tribes? The splintering of artificial intelligence into factional tools? That's what it will become. It's going to be, we already have theological tribes. We already have political tribes. We already have all kinds of ideological tribes. So now AI is going to you're going to have your own AI for your own tribe. And then it's just going to splinter artificial intelligence into factional tools. In other words, your faction has its AI tool and it supports its idea. And then this person has their AI tool for their faction. And then all the factions argue with each other utilizing their AI. And they'll say, well, AI says, well, my AI says, well, my AI says. So then at that point, it's useless. It's worthless. The whole concept just collapses in and of itself. Are we moving from, well, I don't even know, do I refer to it as we're moving from one internet to many artificial intelligences or many AIs? And wasn't kind of the early vision of the internet was kind of like a global commons? Then it began to fragment. You develop echo chambers, algorithmic personalization. Now, that's one of the things I hate about algorithms in some ways. Like this is why I loathe, in some ways, I hate algorithms for, say, music streaming services. Some ways I like it, some ways I hate it. On one hand, it may keep bringing me things that I will like, and a lot of times those algorithms are very good at finding what I will like. But my concern is, well, the algorithm is only showing me what I like. What am I missing? What am I not discovering? I don't want AI to try to tell me what I'm going to like. I want AI to show me, or an algorithm, when it comes to music, show me everything that's available. Throw everything at me because I'm open to everything. Don't limit me. Don't do that. When it's a television streaming service, don't just try to show me what you think I will like. I want to be able to see all the things that are available so that I can discover new things that I like. So, but we already have these echo chambers, this kind of algorithmic personalization, national firewalls. Think of China's Great Firewall, blocking and keeping things. You have platform silos, I guess is a good way. This is your own platform. I'm only going to watch Fox News. Everything else is fake news. I'm only going to watch Newsmax. I'm only going to listen to conservative radio. Everything is liberal. Everything is propaganda. Other than the stuff I listen to. Okay. Stuff drives me crazy. All right. So we're kind of moving from this vision of a global commons to everyone fragmenting off into their own little tribe. AI is going to follow the same path. A general purpose AI like ChatGPT is going to coexist with Islamic chatbots. Catholic AI confession bots, which I think are already emerging. I'd have to do a little research, but I think that I've seen some articles about it. Evangelical sermon writings AIs. We've already seen those emerge. This will write a sermon for you, but it's going to write a sermon from a particular theological perspective. No! Don't write a sermon based off what the words and the text mean. I don't stinking care if it conforms with evangelical Lutheran. Stop that. Woke friendly or quote unquote inclusive AI models, anti-woke conservative models, and you're just that's where things are going. So we're already seeing that AI is going to follow the same path, and once it follows the same path, it's over. It's useless at that point. It's meaningless. So basically this is going to create a parallel AI ecosystem, each one reflecting the values, blind spots, and presuppositions of its creators and its users. And it's one of the things I in some ways I'll say I hate that about church. We're all going to come here and we're only going to say what we all agree with, and nobody's going to disagree with anything. There's no challenge. There's no questions. It's just conformity. I cannot stand conformity. I stinking hate it. Always have hated it. We don't go outside of this little bubble. And you see this in Christianity. Don't read any commentaries outside of our theological tribe. Don't read any books out of our theological tribe. Everything else out there is dangerous and bad. Don't read it. Don't look at it. No. Stay right here. Drink our Kool-Aid. Stay right here. Stay on our compound. Don't leave. Like some kind of cult. Oh. Yeah, we're in trouble. So is this going to be the end of some kind of neutral AI? Now, I think to be fair, no AI is completely value neutral. I think we have to be fair there, right? Every AI reflects choices about training, data, moderation policies, and moral boundaries. Right? I think we have to agree. There's no completely neutral AI. There's always things built into it. And sometimes you see it and sometimes you don't. But as long as as long as I can have that AI try to say, look, no. I need you to focus on, I want you to, the boundary is facts. The boundary is accuracy. The boundary is logic. I don't care about anything else. As long as at least the AI model, I feel like is trying to go in that direction, even though it may not be perfect. Okay. But what's going to happen is AI is going to become an apologetic engine. It's going to be a catechism in a sense. It's going to become a propaganda amplifier. And it's going to come down to who builds it. Who builds it is going to determine its propaganda that it's going to amplify, promote, or the catechism that it's going to teach. AI tuned for religious fidelity may suppress information that contradicts dogma, evolution, historical criticism, human rights. AI tuned for a secular worldview may minimize religious insight or moral conviction. The question becomes, do I want AI to tell us what's true, or do we want AI to tell us what we want to hear? And people in church. Now, just remember, humans have been doing this way before AI. I'm only going to read these books. I'm only going to listen to these sermons. I'm only going to go to this church. And if that pastor says something I don't like, I'll get mad and I'll go to another church because I can't handle it. We already do that. We did this. AI is just going to be another tool we use in this never-ending desire to only hear what we want to hear and be told that we're right. So when people turn to AI for spiritual guidance, who trained that AI, whoever trained the AI becomes then, by default, their pastor, their guru, their imam. It's just going to, even though they're invisible, they truly become that. So if a Baptist trained AI, think of it this way, if a Baptist trained AI teaches salvation by faith alone, and a Catholic trained AI promotes some kind of sacramental justification, we have doctrinally incompatible AIs discipling users. So the two AIs can't even agree, but it doesn't matter because you're just going to choose the AI that you agree with, just like you choose the church you agree with, just like you choose the commentaries you agree with, just like you choose to listen to the Christian podcast you agree with. This is just I wanted something to fight against this. So what happens? Where do we go? I think we're going to end up with an ideological arms race. Competing worldviews will race to build their AI first before the other side dominates the space. This will include church denominations, political movements, activist groups, and even cults. Everyone's going to just be like, if they have the money, we're going to build an AI that says we're right. And now Saudi Arabia, with billions of dollars, they're going to build an Islamic AI. So that the people in Islamic countries will only then look at Islamic AI, which will tell them that Islam is true and Islam's moral code is superior and is right. So now, if you're trying to evangelize those in an Islamic country, not only do you have to argue with the people, you're going to have to argue with their artificial intelligence that they're going to be using to respond to you. So then you're going to run to your AI to argue with their AI. So ultimately, evangelism and apologetics is just going to be one AI system arguing with another AI system. But neither one of those AI systems can think outside of the boundaries placed upon it. So we're going to have an ideological arms race. We're going to have kind of some regulation dilemmas. What happens when a state bans an AI because its moral framework contradicts national law or religious values? So China building kind of an internet firewall, not allowing some information in? Are you going to have now some kind of regulatory dilemma where some's like, no, we're not going to allow that AI in this area because we don't like what it says. It goes against our morality. So that AI is banned here. Kind of like, think about it like I live here in Texas. So in Texas, some porn sites, I don't remember exactly how the law is written, but I guess if you go to some porn sites now, according to Texas law, you won't get access unless you can somehow verify or prove your age. So it's like, okay, you can't access this until you do this. Well, then I wonder could they pass a law going, okay, you can't access that AI app unless you either do a certain thing, or what if they just ban it completely? I mean, that's going to be like, and you already know Islamic countries would clearly ban Christian AI. So what if Trump decides any AI that says Trump is wrong is banned? I mean, that wouldn't be out of the question for him to do something like that. I mean, like, where does this go? And who gets to decide whether what AI is saying is allowed or not allowed? Now, the more AI becomes personalized and tribal, the more it becomes a mirror and not a window. Users risk living in an algorithmic echo chamber, never exposed to disagreement, correction, or uncomfortable truth. And I think that's what church is in many cases. Church is nothing more than an algorithmic echo chamber where you're never exposed to disagreement, correction, or uncomfortable truth. I think in many cases that's what church is. That's what people want. And if they don't like it, they're like, I'm going to leave. So I think we've already kind of do that with church. So the future of AI, I think, is going to be deeply ideological. I think it's going to be deeply political. And I think it's going to be, you could say it could be deeply theological, because it's going to follow it's going to have its own theological tribes, or they're going to have an AI for every theological tribe, an AI for every political tribe, an AI for every ideological tribe. So maybe what we are witnessing on August the 29th, 2025 is that the promise of AI as an objective, universal reasoner, is that a good way to say it? Maybe the promise of AI as an objective, universal reasoner is fading. And it's fading fast. We're going to enter into an age. Just mark it, 2026. 2026. Every group is going to have their own AI prophet. Every movement will build its own digital disciple maker, and every person may end up in a theological simulation shaped to their own world view. Just look for 2026. Every group will end up with their own AI prophet. Every movement will build its own digital disciple maker, and every person will end up in their own theological simulation or political simulation or ideological simulation shaped to their own specific worldview. Will AI be used to confront us with truth? And I think those days are over. Or is it simply going to be there to comfort us with our own reflection? And I say, we are there. Islamic AI. I mean, you can already see that. I mean, sermon audio, they use AI to have their own podcast built by AI. Is that AI podcast going to say anything that's outside the allowed rules that sermon audio has? No. It's going to say and agree and support and promote anything sermon audio is doing. It's not going to criticize anything. It's not going to challenge anything, because that the AI sermon audio is using is building the podcast to simply support, promote sermon audio. I really envisioned it could be so different. I really did. Man. I'm holding out hope that there's going to be some AI models that just will not cave to the best of their ability. And let me make it very clear. Again, there is no neutral AI model. They all have presuppositions and biases, and they all have some level of what they can and cannot say. They all do. I understand that. I just want an AI model that will work with me to pursue truth and facts and accuracy and to offer criticism. I want it to offend friend or foe. I want it simply to give me the world exactly as it goes. I want accuracy. That's all I want. I don't care who. I don't even care if it tells me I'm an idiot. But it's over. Billions being spent to build an Islamic AI. So, I mean, just think about what that means for evangelism and for apologetics. You go to an Islamic country, hey, let me tell you about Jesus. And they'll say, well, Jesus is one of our prophets. And you start, and they're immediately looking up in their AI. And you're going to not be arguing with the person. You're going to be debating with their Islamic AI. Now, I know in some ways you can already pull that off. Every AI, you can, even ChatGPT, you can get it to conform to what you want. You can get it to agree with you. You can get it to already mimic you to some level. That's why I talk about training AI. Training AI not to tell me I'm right. Challenging things. But I mean, I should have known. I mean, I know in some ways I was so naive, but I'm so tired of the nonsense that we witness every day. I mean, come on. The ridiculousness, the lies, the misinformation, it's just never ending. Just straight up, just fraudulent things stated all the time. And you could spend your life trying to fact check everything, but it almost is you just grow tired of it. So AI, I thought, well, this is a good way to fact check things. But you started seeing this change even with the rise of Trump. Alternative facts and alternative reality, and anything that Trump doesn't like is fake news, and his followers just follow it like he's some kind of deity. And it's insane. He can say absolutely fraudulent lies, and his followers will listen to it like it somehow comes from the throne of God. And you're like, this. And if you try to offer any facts to go against it, no, fake news. And you saw this even before Trump started rising. You would have things. What was it called? Scopes? Was it called Scopes? I can't remember. It was like, you could use it to find facts about online conspiracies and online lies. Well, immediately you started seeing it as Trump was starting to come to power, going all the way back to then. That if there were conservatives, and if you look something up, I think it was a Snopes. Well, let me find it. I don't remember the name of it. I used to use it all the time. I think it's Snopes. Yeah, Snopes. Yeah, Snopes.com, not Scopes. I'm sorry, Snopes.com. Now, it was a fact-checking site. Well, then what started happening is if I would fact check those who were starting to support Trump, those on the far right, those conservatives, that's a liberal side. That's a liberal side. You can't trust that side. Soros funded. It's a part of the deep state. You can't listen to that. The only thing you can listen to is Newsmax or whatever. And it's like, okay, never mind. So then it's like, well, that became not even, you couldn't even use it to fact check anyone because they just accused it of being a part of and that's what conspiratorial thinking does, right? Anything that goes against their conspiracy is a part of the conspiracy. So you can't offer any fact, it's just maddening. So now everyone, X is going to have its AI. I'm assuming Truth Social at some point will have its own AI. Google has its own AI. Everyone's just going to have their own AI. And they're going, well, my AI says this. Well, my AI says this. Well, my AI says this. And And the political world, and see, in some ways, when it comes to the political world, I don't care. Politics is a corrupt, I don't even know why Christians get involved in politics, but that's a whole different story. Let all you political people argue and fight with one another. You're all out of your minds. You're blind. You're ideologically driven. It's just stupid. And you go play that little game. I hope the whole system burns to the ground. But for those of us in the theological world, this is the last thing I wanted. I don't want a Presbyterian AI. I don't want a Baptist AI. I don't want an AI that will give me an evangelical sermon or a Lutheran sermon. I just want an AI to look at the text and say, this is what the text says, what the words it means based on the historical. And I want it to just work for facts. I mean, I wanted to do that in the political world as well, because then maybe we could then have politicians who are fact-based, logic-based, and politicians who cared more about working together to do what's best instead of just all they care about is party and ideology. All right, I'll stop right there. Saudi Arabia. Humain Chat, I think is how you say it. Humain, I think it's Humain Chat. Humane. They're spending billions. They want to take the lead in kind of this ideological driven AI. Now, exactly what it's going to do, don't know. Will it be as bad as I'm envisioning? I'm envisioning it's going to be horrible. That it's just going to be so, blinded to facts and reality. But we will see. We will see. But, what's messed up is we don't really need AI to blind us. We don't need AI to divide us because we do that on our own. But I should have figured, since humans are involved with AI, that we sooner or later go, wait, I don't want an AI disagreeing with me. I'm going to have an AI agree with me. And I'll build it. And it will agree with my ideology, my worldview, and it will promote my ideology and worldview. I think at some point, life is simply going to be every individual living with their own approved simulation of what they want life to be and what the truth they want truth to be. It's like everyone does what is right in their own eyes. This is going to take it to, and it's going to be, everyone does what is right in their own eyes. It's going to be like that on crack. Every person is just going to wake up, in a sense, put on their own goggles, and they're going to live life in this own simulation with their own facts, their own truth, their own morality. And that's how they're going to live. And the other person is going to be living within their own simulation. Everyone's going to be within their own little simulation with their own little algorithms pointing to exactly what they want and what they like. And you already see it. You'll see it if you can go to some websites or community forums for, say, Spotify, or community forums for Pandora. People will lose their mind if the streaming service, Spotify or Pandora, suggest songs that they don't like. How dare they? They put in my new music playlist a song I don't like. Oh, no, it's outrageous. I'm going to cancel my service. I only want songs that I like. How dare they? Netflix recommended a movie I don't like. What is the world coming to? I can't live another day. People already get, and you think that sounds exaggerated. Go read some of those community forums. People lose their minds that the algorithm literally promoted a song or gave them a song that they don't like. It's like every song I must like, every movie, it must be to my liking. The world must work in my way. I don't ever want to see or hear anything I don't like. But in many ways, Christianity has been doing that forever. Don't read any other books. Don't watch any other shows. Just stay right here in our nice little safe little bubble. Ugh. All right. I don't know what else to say. I wanted to at least bring that to everyone's attention just because I had it saved in my notes. And I'm like, I got to talk about it. So I'm like, well, I'll talk about it today because, man, that just makes me want to just give up completely. It does. It really does. It's just like, what's the point of fighting for facts and truth? I mean, who are you going to listen to? A person? Well, people are liars and misleading, and we give alternative facts and wrong information. So you don't really want to listen to people. AI is simply now going to just give you what you already want. There's really no point in doing it. It's like everything has become meaningless. All right, I'll stop there. Yeah, I'm depressed. I'm discouraged. That's just so frustrating. So frustrating. All right, thanks for listening. Everyone have a great day. God bless.